Hi guys, my name is Daniela and today I'm going to do October wrap-up, and I don't even care, it's almost the end of November because October was such a great reading month for me, so I want to document it and I also want to show you the stats. In October I read a total of 12 things and 3 of them were graphic novels. I have 5 5-star ratings, 4 4-star ratings and 3 3-star ratings. How perfect is that, right? 8 of them were adult and 4 of them were young adult. 8 of them were physical and 4 of them were ebooks. When we look at the genres, 5 of them were contemporary, 3 of them were fantasy, 2 of them were sci-fi, 1 was classic and 1 was non-fiction. So I'm going to go from the lowest rating, which is 3 this month, which is pretty great, to the highest rating. So the first book I'm going to talk about is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. And this was a very sweet young adult contemporary. In fact, it was a little bit too sweet for me. Like, I think I would have liked this book around age 13. But at 26, I'm not sure if it has the potential to give me something. So it's about this girl who writes a letter to every crush she has had and she stores them. But one day someone sends them out and all the boys know that she has or had a crush on them, and there's a drama out of it and the plot doesn't make much sense, and I don't know, I didn't like the characters very much. Lara Jean was incredibly naive and childish for her age, so I didn't enjoy her character that much. And yeah, meh. Another 3-star rating book is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, and this was a disappointment because I thought I was gonna absolutely love it and I didn't. So the majority of the book took place in Wales and it was foggy and there was a mysterious house and the atmosphere was creepy, but as a whole, the book didn't work for me. Once the main character discovered the first part of the secret, I wasn't interested in the plot anymore. Towards the end, there was this big dramatic scene and I just didn't care anymore. A good thing about this book were these creepy photos. The thing that was really creepy about them was that they were described in a very creepy way, and then you turn the page and there they were, and that was the creepy part for me. But I wrote Goodreads review, so we can check that. Basically the whole children's situation was really creepy for me and the romance was creepy as hell. So 3 stars. The next book I'm going to talk about is Saga volume 4 by Brian Vaughan and Fiona Staples, and in my statistics this was in the sci-fi department. In fact, it's more like sci-fi / fantasy graphic novels series, and it's amazing. This was the least enjoyable volume for me because there were these really annoying scenes with Alana and I found out that I don't like her anymore. Like, if I ever liked her, I don't anymore. Obviously I can't talk about the plot much because it's volume 3, but it's about like 2 planets who fight against each other and there are these different races and creatures. But yeah, this volume was the worst so far, so 3 stars. I read another graphic novel in October, this one. This is The Castle by Franz Kafka in a graphic novel format, and it was adapted by David Zane Meyerowitz, and the artist is a Czech artist, Jaromír99. I'm going to show you the art. Because if you haven't read The Castle, go read it. It actually has winter vibes. It's about this town in winter, so there's a lot of snow, and on the hill there's a castle, and it's very hard to reach the castle. Anyway, it's very hard to explain what the book is about. I like the art. I think it really complements the story well. So the graphic novel was more like absurd at times, like funny absurd. It is a lot of creepy, of course. So 4 stars. Another book is a funny thing. Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. So the story is that I was never interested in reading Twilight when I was growing up, like when I was in my teens. And this year, out of the blue, at the age of 26, I thought, hey, I could read Twilight and see what the fuss is about. Like, I can read it because when something is like super popular, I often want to read it so that I can have my own opinion on it. If I don't like it, I want to be able to criticize it. But to my shock, I loved the first book, so I'm continuing with the series. You might know what it is about, right? I gave the first book and the second book 5 stars. Yeah, it was like very enjoyable and amusing read for me. Like I rate according to my enjoyment. It's a very enjoyable read for me, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, so Eclipse got 4 stars. Next, I read Beg, Borrow or Steal by Susan Tate, and this was because I discovered NetGalley. This is from the Read Now section, so everybody can read it and you don't have to get approved. I was pleasantly surprised by this book. I expected to be like a steamy new adult because there was something like a medical student starts an affair with her professor and stuff like that, but it wasn't steamy at all. It was more like heartwarming. I wrote a Goodreads review about this book if you want to hear more about my thoughts, but yeah, 4 stars. It was good. The last 4-star rating book is Trouble Brewing by Paul Carroll, and this is another book from the Read Now section of NetGalley. I later picked this up only because the word brewery, one of my hobbies, is visiting craft breweries. But it is really good contemporary. It's about this local craft beer which is endangered because an evil corporation sells an imitation of this beer. So they are trying to save the beer, so they run a campaign. They are trying to get like approved by the European Union to be authorized as the only manufacturer that can make this beer. So it's about like this campaign, marketing, politics, intrigues, because the evil corporation fights back. There's also romance and family relationships, and so there are these charming small town characters and events, and I come from a small town, so I think it was quite authentic and realistic, like these small town characters. So I really enjoy that. So yeah, 4-star read for me. The only non-fiction book I read in October was Making Work Work for the Highly Sensitive Person by Barry Jagger. I will link a test in the description. You can test yourself if you're a highly sensitive person. I took this test a while ago and it seems that I am a highly sensitive person. This book totally deserves its own video, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. It talks about these different stages of fulfillment at work, or it talks about the highly sensitive personality, self-employment. You can see that I'm horrible at annotating books, but yeah, I liked a lot of stuff and quotes from this book. I would love to do a whole video about this book. But for now, 5 stars. Next book I'm going to talk about is Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. And this is a contemporary which takes place in Australia, and it's about mothers whose children go to kindergarten, and one kid is accused of bullying a girl and things escalate quickly. So in fact it's a murder mystery, but we don't know who died. So what I liked was that there were these heavy topics discussed, and I think that they were handled well. So it talked about bullying, rape, domestic violence, family and family relationships, victim blaming. Although there were these heavy topics, it was very entertaining and enjoyable. The characters, I think they were really well fleshed out. I really liked the characters, like almost all of them, which is rare. And at the end, the murder mystery like kicked in, and I was like, tell me what happened now. And the ending is like really satisfactory. Like everything that happens, I am happy with. So yeah, this was my first book by this author, and I definitely want to read more of her because this was amazing. 5 stars. Next thing is Saga Volume 3, which is the best volume so far for me. I don't have it anymore because I had to return it to the library, but the cover, the front cover and the back cover, it's so beautiful, and this was the volume where I really enjoyed everything about it. And yeah, by the way, my favorite character is Isabel. She's so cool. So yeah, Saga Volume 3 was 5 stars. This is getting long. The next to last thing I'm going to talk about is The Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. This was amazing. I loved almost everything about it. The characters, the plot, the themes. It's about this main character who knows some coding and graphic design, but due to recession cuts, he found himself working in a mysterious 24-hour bookshop. There are these customers who don't buy anything, but they borrow books from a restricted section or something like that. These books are encrypted, so it's like nonsense when you look at it. So Clay decides that he wants to try to discover this secret on his own. Well, not on his own. That is the big theme of this book, that he has friends who are like really great at different areas. So he meets this girl who works at Google, and she's really good at coding, and they can run some experiments at Google. So like that's really cool because I really like technologies and books, obviously, so this was like a perfect match. So 5 stars. It's almost the end. The last book I'm going to talk about is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. The thing is that I wasn't interested in reading this series, but like everyone kept talking about it, and a lot of people I follow loved it, so I thought, well, I will give it a try and I'll see. And basically the first book, like I loved it. So I loved the first book and gave it 5 stars, but this was like another galaxy. Like I would give it 100 stars. I loved the character development. I loved the setting. Like it was amazing. It's a sequel, so no plot details, but yeah, a big part of it is obviously that I love Rysand. I'm not going to ramble here about Akumov, because when I finished reading it, I had a lot of feelings, so I just started to type. In the end, it was more than 1,000 words. And it's on Goodreads, so I will link it in the description box. Anyway, my battery died because this is obviously too long. So that is all I read in October. If you have read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them, and tell me in the comments what were some of the books you loved or hated in October. Thank you so much for watching. So I'll see you next time. Bye!